All right, welcome back to the BlockWiz YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about the topic that Benjamin Cowen invited us to discuss, and that is what we see here on the screen. I took a picture from a video of him from yesterday, and this is the stablecoin dominance chart. And the question basically is, will the stablecoin dominance rising bring the bear market upon the crypto markets? And Benjamin, just as a short summary, is basically arguing that it has been forming here a long-term double bottom. You see here this rise in 22, then let's say consolidation till middle of 23. You could argue the downtrend is actually already starting here, but it's also still consolidating. Then it formed these double bottoms in 24 and 25. And so Ben now is arguing that it broke above this neckline, and he's arguing that it's likely that it will continue. And I'm not necessarily against it. Of course, oftentimes when the neckline is broken after a double bottom, it continues upwards. However, there do exist also these counter examples where it's a false breakout, a bull trap basically, and it actually does go back down. And so since Ben invited to discuss some examples, I wanted to bring two examples. And just a little disclaimer, of course, Ben is a smart guy. I don't want to criticize him. I'm just reacting to his invitation to provide some counter examples. So let's start with the first one, and the first one is the copper futures from back in 2017, 18, 19. And you see here a similar pattern where it kind of rose up and consolidated over a longer term period, and then actually it fell down sharply, right, as we saw also in the other chart. And then you can see here it formed this double bottom, 1, 2, in August 18 and beginning of 2019. And then here it broke the neckline, right? Also quite significantly. It closed the gap also, but it also broke above. And then what followed? Oh, it actually went down again into the zone, and then actually continued bouncing around, maybe even a little bit lower than the previous support. And then it went even lower, right? Before then in 2020, after COVID kind of going back up. I mean, this was the COVID dump. Maybe we cannot count this. However, my point was more regarding this breakout. So it was a fake breakout. So if we just go back to his chart here for a second, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it needs to go up all the way and go back up to these highs or even higher. Maybe it just stalls out at these ones, right? This kind of intermediate high and then goes back down. So I would say that's still a realistic scenario. However, of course, it might still continue for sure. And then the second example I wanted to bring, maybe on a different time frame, not as long, is oil. So here we also see the downtrend starting here, right? And then we see a double bottom, of course, within 1 year. It's not such a long-term chart as the other two charts we were looking at, but oftentimes chart patterns also play out on different timescales, right? And so you see here a double bottom forming, and then you see that this is being broken, this previous support zone, but actually it's a fake out, right? It does not continue higher. It just kind of goes back down to the level and breaks down even a little bit more. I mean, that's the year 25. I think everybody still remembers, right? Oil was not able to find new highs, while in the middle of the year, it actually looked like it would rally and go back up to highs. So I would say there are still scenarios, also recent ones, where breakout does not necessarily mean that it will be a bullish continuation. But yeah, of course, I know the 4 years psychology in the crypto market speaks for maybe a bear market. So maybe it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But then again, I think there's also countervailing forces like the easing of the financial conditions by the Federal Reserve, etc. So let's see how it plays out, and talk to you later.